cleaners in government buildings in London are unhappy at what they see as their too low pay, so they've taken direct action. They've written letters to the ministers they clean for and have put them on their desks. Let's find out more about this. We can talk to Stefan Baskerville, who's from Citizens UK. Stefan, how many cleaners and which ministers have been targeted?
More than 150 cleaners have signed letters to ministers including Francis Maude, Nick Clegg, George Osborne, Vince Cable, Theresa May, Michael Gove, Kenneth Clarke and no senior judge in the country, Lord Phillips at the Supreme Court. So
what do these letters say?
The letters make a very simple request, which is, will you meet with us face to face? The men and women of Whitehall who clean the corridors of power are paid mostly about minimum wage or just above. And it's not enough to live on. The letters contain kind of stories of their struggles to pay for their children's after-school clubs, the lack of time that they have to kind of educate their children and spend time with them. And they basically ask for a meeting. Will you meet with us face to face so that we can explain to you, Secretary of State, what it's like to work on our pay and to hear our case for us to receive a living wage?
Now, these are the people who are cleaning up Whitehall, and in terms of a living wage, what do you think, what do they think they should be getting?
So the living wage is calculated by the Mayor of London's office. It's currently set at £8.30 an hour in London, and that's the rate that the cleaners want to see. It's calculated according to an index of the cost of living, and a basket of goods of what somebody needs to live in order to be able to raise a family. It's backed by the Mayor of London. It's had big take-up in the private sector. KPMG are a committed living wage employer, so are Aviva. Lloyds of London have recently committed. PwC, TfL and the GLA are all doing it. So there's widespread support for this. Boris Johnson, the Mayor of London, is a big champion of it. And David Cameron in 2010 described the living wage as an idea whose time has come. But today the cleaners are still on minimum wage. So we think it's time for Cameron to take responsibility for his cleaners. We'd like the Cabinet Ministers to meet with their cleaners and to hear the case face to face and to begin a discussion about the government becoming a living wage employer, not to mess with the national minimum wage, which we recognise is a statutory minimum and has to be set at a certain rate so that it doesn't interfere with jobs, but to adopt the living wage as a voluntary measure, which is getting widespread support across the country, as a statement of the government's commitment to take responsibility for the people who clean its premises, and actually to come down on the side of that moral question that if the government is able to do it, which it is, the costs are not going to be hugely significant. They should take responsibility for the people who clean their premises and make sure they're able to raise their children and raise their families not in working poverty.
Stefan, I think these letters were left yesterday morning, is that right?
Yeah, they've been left at a variety of times over the last sort of 48 hours, basically. So Cabinet Ministers have been arriving at their desks to find these letters. There was also an action yesterday morning with 150 people from Citizens UK outside 8 government departments meeting civil servants and basically welcoming them to work as public servants who are interested in the common good, but also letting them know about this issue of the cleaners' pay and the struggles of the cleaners to survive.
I mean, if they don't get what they want, are they going to come out and say who's got the dirtiest office in Whitehall?
Momentum is building on this. A letter went to Ian Duncan-Smith back in April, and after a couple of letters backwards and forwards, Ian Duncan-Smith has agreed to meet his cleaners. So Ian Duncan-Smith will be meeting with a team from Citizens UK, including cleaners from the DWP, in September. It's clearly possible for Cabinet Ministers to set aside an hour to meet with their cleaners, because Ian Duncan-Smith is doing it, and we expect that other Cabinet Ministers will do the same. Momentum is building. I've had conversations with cleaners in several government departments who say that word is spreading. There are people who have not yet signed the letters, who want to sign the letters, want to be a part of the campaign, and I don't think this issue is going away.
Stefan, I will let you go and get your breath back. Thank you very much, Stefan Baskerville. Thanks a lot for that.
Now, 300 tonnes of metal from war memorials to railway cables.